And of course, welcome to our second hour Smart Men's Business here every day from Monday to Friday from 7 till 10 a.m. And I hope you're having a lovely Tuesday, the 13th of February. And of course, someone would say that we are almost midway the month. Hope that you are doing well. Yeah, this is a lovely month. It's a lovely month, if I must say. Well, of course, let's first get inspired and we shall be back. Well, of course, Larry Page right there saying always deliver more than expected. Well, it's sometimes you have to surprise yourself and the people around you on how you deliver. So expect if they have asked a report for 1 page, give them a 2-pager. Show them that you've been working. So definitely so. When you do more than expected, people realize the kind of potential that you have. So surprise yourself, surprise the people around you, do the unexpected, do more than people expect of you. That is how you're going to conquer. And of course, always avoid shortcuts. Yeah, like they say, shortcuts are always the long cuts. Well, I don't know how that's true because there's a lot. By the way, now I'll give you an instance. If when there is traffic and someone wants to take the shortcut, there's always bumps and the roads are always very funny. At the end of the day, you find yourself on the way and the person who was in traffic has moved ahead. So shortcuts are not always the way to go. So take the route. I know there could be a lot of traffic, a lot of hindrances, yeah, but of course at the end of the day you'll get there. Yeah, so avoid them as much as you can. And of course, every morning here, we're always here to get you motivated on what we think can help you in your day-to-day environment while you're there. No. Well, of course, this is Mark Twain saying that you should stay away from those people who try to disparage your ambitions. Small minds will always do that, but great minds will give you a feeling that you can become great too. So always stay away from people that try to belittle you, that do not want you to get to what you want at the end of the day. Stay close to great minds because they think big, they think greater. That is why we talked about networking. Yeah, go for those network events. Make a rapport with cool people with sound mind, people that don't have time to gossip, people that do not have time for cheap talk, people that have speak sense. Like they ask you, what is this and this? They advise you on what, change the kind of friends that you have. Or maybe categorize your friends. You're like, okay, these are the people I want those for the good time, and these are the ones for the serious one. But prioritize the serious one, the serious circle. So network, make sure that you avail yourself to people that make your life more sensible, that align with your ambition, with your goal, with your vision. At the end of the day, you're going to accomplish great things. So please do not be around people with negative thoughts. Embrace that you can make it. Well, it's 7 minutes past 7 a.m. and of course I'm with Andrew Barije, and of course he was right there in field giving us what is happening on the road. And of course now he's back and we're talking about technology, the use of technology in solving
logistic challenges.
Yes, in our businesses.
Yeah, actually, people need to understand that the report came out, I think it was in 2021, and it was indicating how we lose about 3.1 trillion due to logistic inefficiencies. And we know when we talk about logistics, we're talking about export trade, we're talking about import trade, and we have people that are participating. And so having a stable structure when it comes to efficiency will determine a lot, most especially when it comes to the delivery. Because still again, the World Bank estimates that about logistic challenges, when we have unstable logistic challenges, it goes as high as 70% of the costs heading onto the final product, you know. And so that all comes back into the final consumer, that is the individual. So technology is really playing a crucial role, though in Uganda we've not yet embraced it, I'll say that, because part of the key challenges of this logistic process has something to do with the last mile delivery strategy. And the fact that we're a landlocked country, this could be part of, of a huge challenges. Of course, there are some sort of geographical limitations in certain areas, which is not the case for other countries. So that is quite key. Now, the World Bank estimates that the logistics cost in Africa can be as high as 70% of the product value. That is highlighting the potential impact of efficiency and improvements. At the same time, the International Monetary Fund suggests that artificial intelligence in logistics could lead to productivity gains of up to about 20%. That is very clear, showcasing the economic benefits for that as a result. So, Marcy, I don't know what you have to say about that, because we have many people that are participating in import trade and technology. Now we're seeing people formulating new softwares that can help in terms of dealing with logistic-related aspects, like we shall see later on onto the show, when we shall be having an expert in that line of technology for the logistics.
Well, it is, I feel like in Uganda we're already there, but of course the first thing we have to first deal with at the end of the day is on how we can deal with the whole issue of taxation. And of course, when it comes to import, people that actually import, you know, they have to pay a certain tax. And of course, there's a lot of, I would say, corruption in terms of bribery, you know, stuff like that. Some of them do not... If you realize some people do not give in the appropriate tax.
Appropriate tax.
Yes. They evade some, if they had tons, 1,000 tons, they're going to account for only maybe 900 tons, and the 1,000 will be left. So we have, as a country, Uganda, we have to first track the corruption issue and all that, the corruption, the scandals that we are facing before we get to the bigger picture of, you know, in terms of delivery, in terms of enhancing technology. Because even with the different softwares that are into place, they're not functional. They are not functional in Uganda.
Absolutely.
If it has happened, that have been functional only twice or thrice. At the end of the day, it is who has the more power to negotiate on how much they can give in so that they can have easy access into a country.
All right. Now, getting back to what you've been observing on screen that is part of to do with the last mile delivery strategy, as we can see those figures displayed on your screen. Zipline drone deliveries, so for example, Rwanda has actually been one of those countries that have embraced the zip line related aspect, and which has reduced average time delivery costs. That is for blood from 4 hours. That is 4 hours to 30 minutes.
Blood.
Now, yes, exactly,
Wow.
delivery and all that.
Okay.
And now bringing a cost savings, according to the World Bank, the cost savings as a result of that, a World Bank estimated that drone delivery is estimated in Africa would reduce logistic costs between 13 to 26%, leading to...
Because actually it
yeah.
does save, because now if you're talking about transportation,
Yeah.
now, because for us in Uganda, we're really reliant on road.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit costly sometimes. Most of when the fuel prices are high, it's going to be costly. But with the drones, but of course I've also seen, of course not delivery, we've seen with bicycles and for the borders, but though it's still costly. Yeah, at the end of the day, there has to be a fee. Though in Uganda, ziplining is still for tourists in Uganda, because I don't think maybe we could improvise if there's a line that can stretch.
We could diversify actually.
Yeah, but we're not that. We're still trying to fight corruption so that at least we can have these technologies work. Yeah, but the drone could work. Drones would work actually in Uganda. Though, how many people can really afford drones, and will they be functional at the end of the day? No, Ugandans are known for having bad hands, spoilers, spoiled hands.
No, of course, there are maintenance aspects here, because the only thing would be maintenance, servicing these drones to ensure that they're actually efficient. Because a reduction of costs to between 13 to 26 is quite a huge share when it comes to running business, because you realize that most of the SMEs that are probably dealing in this import trade, the huge burden they are battling is how to balance expenditure, costs with profit. And sometimes you find that one of the only ways you can increase your profit, the increase in sales may be a bit inappropriate due to lack of the available resources necessary. But you could find that if you could lay down strategies of cutting costs, it could drive the profit automatically high. So this is what we are looking up to, and that's why we see logistics costs can reduce between 30 to 26%, which can lead to significant savings for importers. Now, this is according to the World Bank report, that is drones for good, delivering healthcare. That is in East Africa. Now, for this case in Rwanda, it's matters to do with blood donation, and it's all put here, and it's saving from 4 hours to 30 minutes, reduced average time delivery, 4 hours to 30 minutes, as compared to, because Rwanda is also one of the landlocked countries.
Yeah.
So we definitely see how this really worked out. Now, we have something also to do with the route optimization algorithms. This is the fuel efficiency improvement. Now, using this route optimization software, a company known as actually DHL has achieved a 10% reduction in fuel consumption and carbon emissions at the same time. Now, this brings us in line with something to do with environmental protection. As much as we are revising new measures of improving logistic challenges, we're having this challenge, but intertwined with the environmental perspective. I think that is also innovation. And according to the World Economic Forum, there was a meeting actually, apart from the Davos of the recent one, we had one where they introduced the aspect of economic social governance and environment, not economic, environment, social and governance. So environment being part of the key, ESG, those factors. So in other words, if for any country, if you're developing any strategy, designing, there ought to be ways that are mitigating climate change, reduction in all ways, in all these innovations. And now we are seeing fuel consumption, the aspect of using optimization, that is optimization software, where DHL is first of all saving, there is a reduction of 10% in fuel consumption and carbon emissions. This is as a source still in relation to that. And now still when you observe the time delivery, talking about delivery time reduction here, we see that the Maps platforms claims that each routing API can reduce delivery times up to 20%. That is still according to the Google Maps platform documentation. So
The longer something takes in transit, the more costly.
The more costly it is, because there are aspects that come in along the way. But also, the factor comes in back to the person who is supposed to receive it here at the receiving end. That time value in between matters a lot, because what if the demand, because there is what we call the demand factor for that commodity, and it's delaying. So those are all aspects of, because what if consumers that have been waiting for this switch tests, because they are quite sensitive to that. So by the time you receive it, people are already biased. The market is already biased. And you see, the market is quite very tricky. Here, if we have specific people that are dealing in a substitute of that good, of that commodity you are importing in bulk, they are going to switch immediately.
They'll be like,
they'll switch price. Yeah.
At least these ones offer, they'll find all means to divert.
Exactly. That's why the faster you can have your goods, your merchandise, whatever you are importing in there, it creates quite a huge advantage for you in the market. You as a supplier of this good.
Now, I'm just taking an instance now that there is the pirates of the Red Sea. I'm imagining Uganda is a landlocked country. Now you can imagine now the commodities that have been taking 20 days and now in 40 days. So what does that mean for the people that are waiting for their goods? And of course, perishables. You have to talk about perishables at the end of the day. Yeah, there are some things that we import that are perishable.
Perishables, yes.
So you can imagine by the time something gets now, you can imagine someone has been expecting a space of 20 days or maybe 21 days. Now it's doubling.
Yes.
40 days. So at the end of the day, people are losing out in their business. Yeah. So I think us being a landlocked country is disadvantageous. Not because the only solution that we have is Tanzania and Kenya.
And Tanzania
is a longer route.
It's longer route, and there is congestion at the port.
Yes, congestion at the port, and of course Kenya, and of course we've been having issues with Kenya lately. So the question is on how are we going to improvise to make sure that goods are here on time.
Yeah, that's why we're here talking about technology, solving logistic challenges. That is for the import traders. Regardless of what volume of goods you import, I can assure you that you need to incorporate technologies. You need to incorporate softwares in your system for you to ensure that you have something quite efficient. Now, still in line with the last mile delivery strategy here, we have what we call the mobile-based delivery tracking systems. And now here we see there is the aspect of customer satisfaction for that, the mobile delivery system. Now, studies show that real-time tracking can increase customer satisfaction by up to 30%. Now, this is according to the PwC Study Logistics Trends, CAM 2023. And now, still of that, we have delivery app success rate. With apps with tracking features can improve delivery success rates by reducing missed deliveries and lost packages. And you know how this can lead to distortions, most especially when it comes to trade in that line. Now, still you need to understand that in 2023, Uganda's import value reached about $16.8 billion US, highlighting the potential impact of improved delivery solutions. Impact of delivery solutions, increasing Uganda's delivery the value of the imports, that is in import value. Now, we see that around 70% of Ugandans actually are settling now in rural areas, emphasizing the need for technologies that reach these remote locations. Now, this is still a report by the World Bank.
Yeah.
I don't know what you have to say about that.
Well, of course, it's true. Most Ugandans are, shifting to rural areas, but technology. It's just that we talk about technology. I don't know what comes in the minds of people, but we're talking about technology in terms of, in phones. What are we talking about? But then technology has been a challenge in Uganda. Really. We have to first digitalize our cities. our very own Kampala city before we go to the rural areas. If it's becoming a challenge in the city, capital city, how much more is it going to be? Now, you're talking about technology. When you talk about the internet, you think about the internet bandwidth. I mean, some people still have network issues in some areas. So you can imagine. I will give an example. It's away from logistics and all that. When we're doing studies, maybe online, when we had started the online thing, people in the rural areas had issues with network. Yeah. So there is also that issue that we have to set in place. Network would also be a hindrance comes technology in rural areas. That's what I feel. Yeah.
Okay, that is quite key. And last mile delivery strategy is the discussion we're definitely focusing on here when it comes to matters to do with technology in terms of solving logistic challenges. And we've observed the aspect of drone deliveries, which are saving between 4 hours and 30 minutes. That is the time they can actually cost. The time reduction that happens within that range. That is most especially in Rwanda, the ziplining perspective, and it's saving costs from between 13 to 26%. Coming in down to the logistic software still, as we've seen DHL, which was able to cut costs by about 13% of that, and also reduction of carbon emissions. So we see with the use of advanced technology, we see the aspect of climate change mitigation at the same time. So it cuts across. It's a twin one, in other words, at the same time. And when you have such a perspective, you stand a high chance of obtaining a fund from the different donor organizations globally, because you're, first of all, saving time, and you're also using means which are friendly to the environment. Because as we see the dynamics of the world changing every other day, digitization of every aspect of every sector is now the trend as we speak right now. I know of one country which entirely 99% of its systems run on digitization, and that is Estonia. That even you can get married online. So, and that is part of the benchmarking statistics that Uganda is actually looking up to in evolving the IT infrastructure, the backbone, getting to see that all sectors, big sectors of the economy are embracing digital services, and that's still the logistics also is part of those sectors. Because when we have an established logistics industry, if that means the product, the value. Because remember, the more inefficiencies that we experienced at the ports, the price will come back to the final Ugandan who's consuming this. And that means if the Ugandan is not happy with the pricing, you, the person in business, you, the trader, you are in big trouble. So technology is bridging that link in terms of being cost-friendly, for both the consumer and the person that is trading. Like the World Bank estimated that logistic inefficiencies can go as high as 70% of the final product value. So let that not happen to you as a trader, because 70% burden of the product value coming in back to me, the final consumer, in terms of determining the final price of the product. Well, I might switch and buy another commodity. And you, the trader in business, you probably borrowed even money at a high interest rate. To put all this together, you've made a loss in the first place. You have to pay the bank loan. So what are you going to do about this? So technology is the way to go, as we've seen the potential ways it can cut costs. And also remember, due to logistic inefficiencies, annually, Uganda loses about 3.1 trillion. Well, it's exactly 26 minutes past 8. Smart Means Business takes a break. And of course, we return with business, entertainment, and sport.